them to write on plain sheet of papers. She said she did. Why would you ask them to enter the results on a plain sheet of paper instead of putting it on the provided result sheet and asking them to sign? And what I'm telling you is what happened across most places in Lagos State, where you had the INEC presiding officers presenting plain sheets of papers to people to enter their results. Suddenly, after the whole thing, they will tell you they are signing and they are stamping. And eventually, you don't see those plain sheet of papers produced at the collection centers.
So as it stands now, on the 29th of May, you will be representing Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2 in Lagos as a non-indigene representing the PDP.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's get Paul Kalajaye, who is the Director of Mobilization of the APC. Your comment on the card reader. Did it work?
Well, say the decision not to take a decision is in itself a decision. INEC has taken a decision on behalf of the nation as the umpire in this election. And of course, from the empirical facts that we just heard from the observer who was on the field, it's recorded a huge success. Yeah, we could have reasons to say, yeah, it didn't work here or there, but it must be empirically proven. You can't judge in isolation. And of course, those who compare results and do empirical research and findings will be much more correct. So as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the party is concerned, the position of the party APC is justifiable in this sense that it's a very literate and dynamic society. We cannot continue to live in the age of primitivity. We must get off the track. We must be digitally inclined.
Do you think our politicians have this mindset?
To me, a decision to use a card reader is commendable. It could have its flaws, but we'll get to master it with time.
Do you think our politicians have this kind of mindset that you've spoken about?
Well, whether the politicians have that mindset or not, what is ideal, what is novel, what is important to an election process is what is germane and what is important. So to me, it's not whether the politicians are politicians and then we want to do what we think will be best for us. But then the umpire, who is legitimate, who is right to do what is right, must do what is right.
Mr. Lardner, about the 92% that you spoke about, and then the comments credited to INEC concerning the failure rate of the card reader, can we take that to the bank? Because no data whatsoever to authenticate or back up some of those figures, especially the one that INEC has said, other than, well, the press release and the comments credited to the chairman, which at that time, many considered it to be preliminary.
Okay, fair enough, fair question. But I think most of these reports will be out post facto after the elections. They can do a retrospective. But I think the more important question to ask is basically, what problem was this whole process trying to solve, right? And that is at the heart of the challenge of the democratic process here. Look, let's go back to the last couple of elections in this renewed republic.
Right.
We had the 1999 year, 2000, the 2007, by all estimate, was perhaps the worst election ever, right? Okay, from that election, there was a commitment for 2011 to change the dynamic and introduce new processes and technology, right? Okay, so you now have a process that says you have a temporary voter's card for a particular period of time, and you have to now get a permanent one that has all your biometrics. The reason you are doing that is you are literally moving from an analog format, where you just have a card, to a digital format where your information is stored in, right, and you have really no access to it, okay? And the mindset shift. The problem with Nigeria and technology is not technology, it's psychology, basically, and that's at the heart of our challenge, right? We don't have any problems using our cell phones. We have, what, 100% tele-density here. It's the same technology, but somehow, for some people, the argument becomes politicized because you don't want a process that is closed, that is binary, that is precise. And that has been the position for most people who look at it objectively. Whereas, yes, machines are apt to fail now and then. You had 182,000 of these machines imported for 155 polling points, right? And the statistical odds of something going wrong are real because of the huge numbers. 400, as you said, arrived dead on arrival. And then 70% of it did not work, and did not work for certain reasons. And the reasons, as you ascribed, were basically human agency. A, the guys were poorly trained, they didn't remove the film. In some cases, the voters had problems with their fingerprints, henna painting in certain places. but the technology itself was fundamentally sound. And I can assure you that they did go through testing. From the conversion from what I described earlier on as an analog format to a digital format, they cleared the roster of over 4 million voters that had voted deliberately. So what has now happened is that it's becoming increasingly difficult to apply what I would describe as analog rigging tactics.
We'll pick up on that.
Digital countermeasures.
I'll explore it in just a moment with our other panel of analysts. But let me go over to join via Skype now. Gbenga Sheson, he's an IT expert. Gbenga, from your impression, what you saw, read, and heard about the use of the card readers and the day, what do you think?
Well, I think, we've heard numbers of a lot of focus on the failure rate because on that particular day, there was a lot of information flying around as if the only thing that happened with the card readers was failure. INEC said it was 0.25. Mr. Latner has confirmed, from the situation on 8%. I think there are two things here. One is the fact that for those people who experienced the failure, 0.25% or 8% did not matter to them. What mattered to them was that the card readers did not work, and they did amplify that. But I think the second part of this conversation is to say that, technology did not fail us.